I'll take you to the third largest segment of tourism. So you may know that that all starts with flights. This is the biggest segment of tourism. Then the second biggest, accommodation, hotels, so to say. And then the third biggest and fastest growth segment in tourism is actually tours and activities, what to do. So basically how to get there, where to stay, what to do there. And I'll take you through that segment today and show how we have applied artificial intelligence to increase sales for our customers who are operators of tours and activities. There's a heavy pressure to digitize on the operator. Why is that so? Because there's a heavy pressure in terms of how digital is happening there. We are changing our booking behavior. Whereas 5 years back, I would have a large prospect and walk through my vacation, just book my flight, my hotel up front, and then maybe walk through the prospect and see what am I going to do in destination. Today, this behavior shifts to, let's just book a bit of things, and then I sit at the bar the evening before and take my smartphone out, and round about 1/3 of bookings even happen the same day. So 1/3 of booking happened the same day, and there's a heavy trend obviously going towards mobile, because as we all know, leisure activities are booked in leisure time, so they are not booked on the desk, at home, at work, whatever, but we usually book them on mobile devices. And obviously, there's a heavy trend towards paying online, obviously. So because people actually want to pay up front and they want to pay online because they want to have a confirmed booking also for their experience. And this is more and more driven also by international customers who travel further in order to see the tour, in order to do the attraction, in order to do the activity. And they want to have a confirmed booking because, for example, I'm flying to Mexico in order to do something there, and I actually absolutely want to have it confirmed that I'm going to do that. So the first thing, there's professionalization, digitalization going on the providers themselves. Local is still king. And these fairs and that conferences in general will be talking a lot about international movements, international trends. But still in that segment, there's a lot of local connections going on. I brought an example here of Berlin. And in Berlin, for example, there's different associations. One's in Turwa. There's different associations for suppliers working together and actually reselling tickets amongst each other already. And this happens in a lot of different cities already. This is happening right now. So there's a lot of local connection. All these local suppliers and local operators work together already. And we see, when we talk about internationalization, obviously one trend topic also coming to tours and activities, which is Asia. When you look at Asian people, their biggest destination after Asia themselves is Europe. Most of the tourists from Asia are coming to Europe. And they have around about half the vacation days than we have here in Europe. So obviously they are even more keen to do more. They are even more keen to pre-book because they want to have it confirmed and actually want to do their experience. And this is where there are more and more Asian players now entering on the distribution side the market, also in addition to the pre-existing ones which you already know. So as you maybe saw, we just announced a partnership with Ctrip a couple of days ago to also bring Asian travelers to the European markets and enable them to book tours and activities up front. And last but not least, artificial intelligence is coming to that segment. So this is what we're going to talk about. How can we actually adapt artificial intelligence to that segment? Where many would say, well, it's a lot of small, medium businesses, these tour operators, people doing tours and activities. How can we apply artificial intelligence there? What did we do to actually use artificial intelligence for tours and activities operators with bookingkit? What we call it is actionable artificial intelligence. I'll tell you more about that in a bit. So what we try to do is optimize the utilization of the ski provider or of any tours and activities provider. Classically, a tours activity provider has a high level of fixed cost pricing. So fixed costs, so he has to do the ski school, he has to have, if you have a Segway provider, all the Segways there. If you're running a museum, you have the museum there, independent of how many people come. So we want to optimize the utilization of that tours and activity provider. So what we do, and how do we do that? Actually, what we do is we take different data sets from internal and external data to create a comprehensive data set which we can optimize on. And I'll go through that now. Let's take a look at internal data. So given we have more than 6,000 suppliers on our platform, obviously we have a lot of different data we can use to optimize the behavior, which is on the one hand, their own data. So let's take a look at, for example, I know how many tours, the ski school, the museum, how many opening times, how many bookable events and experiences this guy has in the future, and how many bookings we already have in there, and which channels they come from. And then we build up a comparison sheet. We try to figure out from the other 5,999 suppliers who is similar to that behavior, who behaves similar. And there you'll find interesting correlations, interesting people. So you'll find out that maybe an amusement park at a certain level has similarities in their booking behavior to maybe a Segway guy. I have never thought of that, but it makes a lot of sense. Both are driven by vacation periods, school vacation periods. Both are driven to a certain extent by touristic. So we see similarities where we never would have thought there are similarities. And we see similarities where there are not so much similarities. And then we take a lot of external data to build that up. So we take booking behavior, a classic thing. How does booking behavior change in terms of pre-booking periods? So how much amount of time do I book prior to actually doing the tourism activity? How much time do I spend on the booking page and stuff like that? We take classic things as weather into account, because weather heavily influences outdoor activities and the booking behavior for outdoor activities. We take seasonality, so I said school vacations or classic seasonality into effect for all this data, and we add that to a large pool of data to gather then more correlations to say what kind of data there correlates. And what we do then, we try to actually build an activity level for that supplier. So we take all the data together and we push the data back and try to make it actionable. Because one of the things we figured out is we provided a lot of insights. And now again, we are talking about a classic tour and activity operator. If I show them there's the correlation to this and that supplier, this is how it works, and this is what you could maybe see in our AI interface, then a lot of these guys who hate to be in the office, to hate to do administration, they'll just see, okay, nice that you have that. Nice, maybe I bought the product because of that, but I never actually use it. So what we try to do is now to put it in a really actionable level, to say, what are the concrete actions I can take from that? And our first learning to be applied here was we made it simple to understand what is it actually what we are displaying. So we took like a traffic light style. So this traffic light style really goes, red is everything you did not book at all. So let's take, you have 10 seats. So a red would be the amount of seats you have not sold. And then we have green. Green is the amount of seats you have already sold. So let's say you have 5 seats already sold, 5 would be green, 5 would be red. And now here comes the intelligence. We take a yellow graph. And with yellow, we'll project from different providers which we have on our platform. And your historic booking behavior will project how much people do we believe are coming on next Wednesday, taking into account your historic booking behavior, channel booking behavior, because we know some of your channels are direct channels, some might be get your guide, booking, and so on and so on. And some might just be comparison to other suppliers where we know they have already bookings, so we'll see an effect of you also taking this booking into account. So for a lot of times we stopped there. We just displayed the information and just showed it. So there's your traffic light, and maybe from that comes an experience, what you understand. Maybe weekends were great, but next Wednesday is actually not that great anymore. And this is huge already because, again, we are talking about tours and activities operators who are coming from a world where most of them, prior to using bookingkit, they have maybe paper and pencil, or they have smart Excel files, or legacy systems. So already showing them that kind of information is a great step forward. But on the next level, what we do is we give them actionable insights. A lot of customers came to us and said, congrats, Lukas, you have now that traffic light information. What am I supposed to do with that? So what we tell them, we do price changes. We suggest price changes. Something, for example, you'll see already happening in the hotel space, pretty fairly like comparable, is you do a cooking school in Munich. We know you're pretty much booked, and we know your competition is doing €100 more average basket. So we know your prices could be higher, and by that we could increase your actually yield on the bookings. And we'll actively suggest that to say, next Wednesday is not really booked, but we see cheaper prices in the market, maybe just take a cheaper price there. On the next level, what we do is offer discounts. Would it make sense to discount to a certain level? Go in the other direction, lower your prices, offer a product discount, so put just an extra into the tour to increase booking behavior for a certain set of slots available. And what we'll promote is, we know you've activated Klook, we know you've activated maybe a C-Trip and a booking, and we'll say, for similar working providers, we have good experiences with Get Your Guide. So what we'll suggest is, please activate Get Your Guide and get more bookings there, because it won't change when you now have 5 from 10 slots booked. It's a great deal to get more places booked already, and this could be a great hook to also activate more platforms to distribute on. That suppliers, tours and activities guys are referring each other to say, if you visited the TV tower in Berlin, it makes a lot of sense also to go to the GDR museum, for example. This is already happening now on an offline level, but we take that to a digital level. So what did we do there? So this is an example, for Boat Ride in Berlin. So the Boat Ride in Berlin would actually cross-sell activities of museums or of stadiums, and then just suggesting, okay, you asked for availabilities for next Fridays, there's no more availability on next Friday, maybe that would be a great time to go to see the TV tower, or this would be a great time to go to the stadium. So we build local networks where we enable these operators to interlink with each other and make sure that they actually can sell tickets via themselves, and they are not so much responsible to get all the bookings from marketing platforms, but they can help each other, especially in high season times. But our biggest learning there was, you can't stop at just providing the information, at just showing, okay, this is booking behavior, this is how things might work out. So this would be the traffic light style, where you say, okay, this is green, already booked, this is yellow, this is maybe going to be booked, and this is red, where we believe it's not going to be booked at all. But we actually have to make it actionable, provide actionable steps to get these guys who want to be outside, who love to make their hobby to a profession, to bring them to a new, really actionable level where they can increase their sales and their revenue with that.